Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Steph Fashionista, and here we talk about fashion, lifestyle, current events, travel, relationships, all the things, okay? You never know what you're gonna get when you hit that play button. So if you are new here, welcome. So glad you found me. Please stick around, watch the video, watch some others, and I hope you decide to support the channel by subscribing. To my supporters, thank you for every like, share, comment, and view. It is greatly appreciated. To the trolls, keep doing what you're doing. You are welcomed here. Now, as you may have seen from the title of my video, I have a little story time for you, okay? So I have been wanting to share this with you all for the past couple of weeks, but I said, you know what, let me just get through the situation first, and then I'll talk about it with you all, just for legality type reasons, So anyway, I was en route to a dentist appointment. I got to the location, and when I was getting ready to park, the spaces were kind of tight. You know how they do around here. But I found one where there was two empty spaces that were next to each other. So I went ahead and parked in one. And when I was getting ready to get out the car, I saw another vehicle that was getting ready to pull into the one beside me on my driver's side. So I kind of looked back to kind of see if they were going to allow me to get out first, and they did. So I went ahead and got out the car. Now I did see that the person that was getting ready to park next to me was an older gentleman, and he had an older lady, I assume his wife, in the passenger seat. Okay. So I had just went ahead on and got out the car, and I went into the building, for my dental appointment. So I was at my appointment for about an hour or so. And then when I got ready to leave, it was raining. So I was talking to one of my good friends on the phone, and, I went ahead and, dashed and got into my car, and I noticed a piece of plastic that was on the hood. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to get back out here in this rain. I'm going to let the wind, when I drive, blow it off, and we'll be good with that. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen on some of these different videos about people, like putting chemicals, on different materials and leaving them on people's cars. I'm like, I'm not going to touch this thing with my bare hands. No. So I was going to allow the wind to blow it off. And so when I was driving, I told my friend, I said, girl, this piece of plastic is actually underneath the windshield wiper, because the windshield wiper was moving it from side to side. So it wasn't like, oh, it just randomly flew on my car. Like somebody placed this plastic underneath the windshield wiper. Okay. So let me show you all the plastic. Give me 1 second. So yes, y'all, this was the plastic that was behind my windshield wiper. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not driving very fast. So I said I should be good until I get home. I was only, maybe 5 minutes away. So when I got home, I noticed that there was like a piece of paper inside of the plastic. So I was like, okay, well, let me go in my trunk and get some of my gloves and my, and my automotive paper towels out, so I can use that to get this from off my windshield. So when I got it, it had a note inside, and I read it. Let me read it to y'all. The note says, watched the car next to you hit your car while parking. His plate number is da 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 da. Please feel free to text, and they put their phone number. Now, I'm still on the phone talking to my friend, and I was like, this person just put this note underneath my windshield saying this. I don't have no damage to my vehicle. So mind you, I had just got my car out of the shop maybe 3 weeks before, because I was going to another dentist appointment in Reston, Virginia, and I had a tire blowout. And guess what, y'all? I did not make it to that appointment. So I called myself finding me another dentist that was near where I lived, So I'm thinking, okay, I just got my car fixed. My car looking real brand new. And you saying I got damage. Now I thought about it. When I was getting ready to get back into my car, it was raining. I didn't have an umbrella. So I was pretty much just trying to get into the car. I didn't do like any kind of a walk around the vehicle. So when I saw the note, I'm in the garage, I walked around the vehicle, and lo and behold, on the bumper of the driver's side, I had damage. I couldn't believe it. So, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, okay. I was glad that they put like the person's license information, their license plate info. So I was very glad about that. And they gave me their contact info. The Good Samaritan is what I call this person. So I was like, oh my goodness, like my car's gotten hit. I just got my car fixed. Now I got to deal with all this stuff. Da 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 da. So anyway, so after I processed that my car had been damaged, I did go into my home and I reached out to the person who left the phone number on the note here. And they were very receptive, very responsive. And I was like, thank you so much for leaving me the information. I'm going to file a claim with my insurance company. And I'm also going to go and get a accident report, just letting you know, because you may be reached. They may want to talk to you since you're pretty much the person who witnessed what happened to my vehicle, because by the time I got ready to leave, I don't even know if they were even still parked next to me, because I didn't read the note until after I got to my home. There's that, right? So anyway, they said, oh, no problem. Glad to do it. I expect to be contacted. Not an issue. Great. So I reached out to my local police department and they said they were going to send someone out to the home. They came out in under 10 minutes. I gave them my driver's license. I said, hey, I let them see the note. I explained the situation and they took a picture of the note. So I told the Good Samaritans what I called them. I said, hey, I had the police out here. They took a picture of the note. They may be reaching out to you. I don't know. And so the police, they did reach out to him, because once they left my home, the guy, because he told me, he gave me his actual first name by this point. That's how I know he's a man. He was like, yeah, they reached out to me. You're not a problem. He was saying that his dad had been in the police department, so he knew what to expect. Bet. Thank you. So anyway, so the police came out to my place. They took a picture of the note. They went out to their vehicle for like maybe 15 minutes. And apparently they contacted the witness. And they also ran the plate and contacted the owner of the vehicle. And so the male officer said, you know what? We talked to the gentleman. And pretty much what you said is kind of what they confirmed. It was an older gentleman and his wife that was in the car, And the gentleman told them, well, just give her my insurance information and we'll work it out through the insurance companies. Now, first of all, I'm a little thrown off because you didn't hit my car and ran. Like you hit my vehicle and you left. You made no effort to get in contact with me, leave your contact information, like nothing. And then when the police contact you, you're like, oh, well, we'll work it out through my insurance. I don't need you to tell me how we're going to work out anything. But let me get off that tip and get back to the story. So they gave me the person's information as well as the information for their insurance company. And so they also gave me, the incident report number for this situation. So I went ahead into my home, filed my report through my insurance company. And I said, we're going to let it go like that. So the next morning, I told my management, I said, look, I was involved in a hit and run. I need to work from home so I'm able to communicate with my insurance company and get things, settled and in order. So lo and behold, by 10 a.m. the next morning, I got a phone call from my insurance company. And so the lady was telling me that she had reached out to the other driver and he was now saying that he doesn't remember hitting my car. Now, mind you, when he was talking to the police the night before, he was like, oh, yeah, basically whatever he said, it led them to believe like, okay, what you're saying, ma'am, is what he's saying. He wants to work it out through the insurance, yada, yada, yada. Great, right? But when he talked to my insurance company, he was like, oh, well, I don't remember hitting her car. And then he wanted them to give him my information to contact me directly and we could work it out outside of the insurance. So I told her that I will not be working this out outside of the insurance because I don't need the stress. So, I'm paying for insurance. I'm going to need for my insurance company to do what, they're being paid to do on a semi-annual basis. You know what I'm saying? So, yes. So that's how we did that. So I ended up getting a phone call the next day from his insurance company. And I was like, now I'm at my job and I just so happened to have my phone. And I said, well, let me just answer the call and see what's what. And I barely could understand what they were saying. I don't have the best reception at work. That's why I wanted to work from home the day before, because I needed to be able to conduct business, you know? So the person was calling me, and then they wanted me to spend time talking about, well, what happened. And I said, sir, I am not available right now. I'm available after 6. If you could just email me whatever it is that you want to know, and then we can, come up with a time to meet. But in the meantime, I'm like, well, why are they contacting me directly when I'm going through this insurance I have? You should be talking to my insurance company. And so what I learned in the process is, because I've never had to, I hardly ever have filed a claim on my automotive insurance in 20 years of having it, So I had to pretty much pay my deductible out of pocket to go to my choice of collision center. And then once my car is fixed, which I did get my car yesterday, and it looks fabulous, then they would go to the other person's insurance company to, to be reimbursed for my deductible and for what they paid for my car to get fixed, right? So I wanted to ensure that before I took my car to the shop, that, there was a understanding of liability, i.e. that he was liable for hitting my car, hitting my parked car, mind you. So my insurance knew that I wasn't liable or at fault, but it was a matter of, okay, when this car gets fixed, I want to ensure that, we won't have any issues with his provider paying my deductible back to me through my insurance company and reimbursing them for the fixing of the vehicle. See what I'm saying? So they put a special person on this case to try to get that worked out in advance. But yes, y'all, that situation, could have been a lot worse. I mean, I'm still kind of going through it because, I got the car yesterday, but the subrogation process is still, in the works. That's the part where they retrieve the reimbursement from the other insurance company. But, it is what it is at this point. But yeah, so I did tell his insurance company that he needs to reach out to my company. Here's my claim number. Here's their contact information, that they can give you everything that you need regarding info regarding this incident, from this hit and run from your customer. Yeah, so when I went and looked up, like, what happens to people who do hit and runs, and at least in the state of Maryland, and probably in most states, I mean, you could go to jail, you can be fined, and you can receive some points off your license. So these are serious things. Even if there isn't any, even if it's just like property damage, like, these things can still be at play. So I was like, you know what? Number one, I was very glad that Good Samaritan, took the time to write out this note, put it in the plastic, put under my windshield wiper to make sure that I had the information. Because, I'm sure they probably waited for me to come out, but I was in my appointment for a minute because it wasn't the most efficient appointment, okay? No fault of my own. But yeah, I really appreciated him for doing that. And also, and that also helped my case, because the fact that I had a witness to the incident, that went a long way. Because had he not provided me any information, then, it's my word, I would not have known who hit the car, honestly, unless I would have went back to the location and see if they had any cameras and stuff out, But I would have probably had to come out of pocket and maybe have taken a hit on my insurance. Who knows what would have happened. But me having that note, having that independent witness, made a lot of goodness on my side on that right there. So I was really appreciative of that. But also, the gentleman was an older person. I want to say he's at least 90, easily. I'm not, no ageism here. He's an older person, and it's probably not his first car incident. And I figured, maybe someone told him that, well, why did you speak to the police? Why did you do X, Y, Z? Because, the next day he had a different tone. Like, oh, well, I don't remember hitting her car, but can I get her number? And I could just call her and we can work it out outside of insurance. So it's kind of like, you want to say you didn't, but yet you did. And for whatever reason, like, that person that saw this incident, like, it was enough to get their attention, for them to pay attention to what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So yes, y'all, I wanted to share with you all about my little hit and run situation. And what I would tell you is this. So if you are ever involved in one, hopefully you're not, but stay calm, make sure you keep a cool head. You also need to make sure that you can take any pictures of the surroundings of where you are. If the other car is there, you know, reasonably believe that's the car, like get a picture of that, get the license plate type of thing. If there's any witnesses, get their information, get everything over to your insurance company. And it's always good to get a accident report from your local police department. That's very helpful. That makes it legit, So do all those things and submit your claim and stay on them. Like me personally, I don't prefer to, go VFR direct with the other driver because, people these days, I had a friend and her car got hit back in February, and the person wrote a note but didn't put any information on there. So if anybody might have seen this incident, they probably thought, oh, well, he went ahead and left a note, so I'm not going to say anything. But the note that was written from my friend, they didn't leave any information. So she pretty much had to take that out of hide. So yeah, do the right thing, because karma will come back at you real fast. So don't hit people's cars. And if you do the right thing and try to, get it resolved. But if you're the person whose car has been hit, like I said, stay cool, calm, and collected. Get whatever info you can, pictures, witness information, license plate, driver's license, whatever you can get. Submit that to your insurance and also contact the police to get a police report. Okay? That's going to give you dividends in how you move forward. But anyway, y'all, just wanted to share that because I was very annoyed when it happened. So, I'm in better spirits now. I got past all of that. Car looking good, car fixed. They got it done in less than a week. So, I had just got my car out, so I knew where I wanted to go for repairs and my rental company and everything. So I already had that figured out. So it worked out really well. But anyway, y'all, if you're still here, please comment in the chat. Have you ever been involved in a hit and run? Like, what did you do? What did you learn from it? Like, put some different tips in here that I may not have covered for the people watching this video. Because, yes, you do not want, let me just say this. So what I've noticed here is that a lot of people's cars have a lot of visible damage. So it's like back in San Antonio, if you had a lot of damage, like you got it fixed. Like you didn't just ride around with like a dented door and things like that. That was not like the norm. But here it is very common. Okay. So I'm like, yeah, it is an inconvenience having to drop a car off, get a rental car, do all those things, but it's a necessary evil. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying for insurance on my car be looking good, So I had to get that taken care of twice since July. I literally got my car out the shop less than 3 weeks before I got hit in this little hit and run situation. So yes, but anyway, y'all, like I said, put in the comments any experiences you've had with hit and runs and different car repairs and stuff like that. Let's chat about it. Also, please like, share, subscribe, hype up the video, help your girl out. Now, y'all know I'm trying to, do different things and see what works here. So I'm trying to do not just fashion. My whole channel is about like lifestyle, if you will. So it's like lifestyle, fashion, a little bit of DMV stuff, a good mix. Like my whole goal is to do things that I like to do and post on here. I don't want to necessarily be, assigned to a niche because I want to be able to talk about my purchases and talk about the different trends of the season and talk about when I went to this really nice place, a museum or an event. Like that's what I want this page to be about the things that I like, and hopefully you like it too. So support the channel, give me your feedback in the comments. What else should I be talking about? It's Vlogtober, okay? So I want to do different things as far as like, little story times here and there, a little bit of fashion, a little bit of me getting out to say doing some apple picking or going to some pumpkin patch and some festivals. Like it's gonna be lit, I'm hoping. So we'll see what I get into. And yeah, stay for the ride, support the channel by subscribing, and I will see you all on my next video. Bye.